Hi guys, my name is Natalia and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a very exciting video for you. I'm going to be reading my most anticipated book of this year, and that book is The Reappearance of Rachel Price. Now you might be thinking, why is this your most anticipated release? Probably because Holly Jackson is like one of my favorite authors. Like, I will read whatever she writes. I just love her so much. I've read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy and 5 Survive by Holly Jackson, and I loved all of them. Maybe my least favorite one was the last book in the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy, but that's like beside the point. I still love her books, her stories, her writing, everything. When I heard that she's releasing a new book, I was so excited. I think it is the book that I'm most excited for this year. So in this book, we follow Belle, whose mom has disappeared when she was like a little girl, and now, like many years later, they are actually making a documentary about her disappearance. And while they are filming it, she miraculously comes back after like so many years. So she has like some sort of story. I'm not sure what that story is yet, but she has the story of how she disappeared and how she reappeared. Belle doesn't really believe that story. Like, something is fishy. Her gut is telling her that Rachel is not actually telling the truth. The premise sounds so interesting. I think Holly Jackson is really a genius. I'm really excited to read this book. Say hello to my boyfriend's dog. Her name is Yippee, and she's just the cutest little girl in the world. I love her so much, and I do help him a lot with taking care of her and all of that. I even call her my daughter, literally. She's just so cute, and here you can see just her being my little reading buddy. What do you think? Is it a good book? Is it a good book? Okay, I'm just gonna keep reading the book with my baby girl. Yes, you can read as well, sure. A quick update on my journey of reading this book. So I'm like on the page 150, so I've got quite far. So what happened so far, without any major spoilers, the first like few scenes were just them basically shooting the documentary. And even like before Rachel appeared, you could like sense that Belle, because Rachel disappeared when Belle was like a little girl, so she doesn't really have any memory of her mother, and that just like makes her really emotionless, you know, even thinking about her mother. Like, she's just a stranger to her, which is understandable. I'm not judging her. You know, she doesn't remember her mom, so it's almost like she's never met her. While shooting the documentary, let's say her dad is like crying, the entire family is emotional. You know, Belle, she doesn't really feel anything, you know. It's just always been her and her dad. And actually, I love the family dynamics, especially between Belle and her dad. Like, it's just so heartwarming. I love their dynamic together. Okay, so yeah, they are shooting it, and then suddenly like Belle was coming home and she saw this. I know, I thought that was like very funny. They hired this woman that looked similar to Rachel just to like, you know, play Rachel in the reenactment in the documentary. So Belle was like walking home, and then she saw this woman that was dressed just like Rachel when she disappeared. So she thought that was the actress, the fake Rachel, that's what she called her. And she just started yelling at her like, aren't you taking your role a little seriously, something like that. I know, I thought it was hilarious, but yeah, it turned out it was the real Rachel alive. Yeah, so she had like this whole story, you know, she was kidnapped, kept in a basement, but it was like dark, so she's never actually seen the face of the man that kidnapped her. But Belle, she noticed like a few inconsistencies in her story, like what she told her dad and what she told Belle, there were a few differences. At this point, I have no idea what the plot twist could be. Like, I'm really trying to think so hard. If she really faked her disappearance, like, why would she do that? I'm like trying to think of that. Ash, one of the characters in the book, which I'll get to in a second, he suggested maybe it was for the money. But I feel like in a book like that would be like too obvious. Like, there has to be like some more complicated motive, or maybe she actually was kidnapped. Maybe there's some huge plot twist about that. I honestly have no idea at this point. And yeah, I also touched up on the topic of Ash. So he is the, I guess, male love interest. I mean, it's obviously not a love story. It's not a romance book. If you've read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, she also did like a romance subplot there, and actually I really liked the romance subplot there. I thought it was a very natural and realistic, and it kind of fit in with the story. And now here it hasn't really developed yet, so I don't know what I think about it. But yeah, there is a slight romance subplot. So far I'm really enjoying it. That's all I have to say, and I'll just keep reading. Honestly, I just keep thinking about this book and I keep wanting to read it, but I also have quite a lot of schoolwork, so I'm so torn between doing my schoolwork and just reading this book, because I just want to know how it ends and what is the whole mystery about. That's how good this book is. I will keep you guys updated. Guys, I just went to the mall to do some clothes shopping, and I accidentally stumbled upon this beautiful, I guess you could call it a library. It's literally in the middle of the shopping mall, and it's really so stunning, and I was honestly mesmerized. Okay guys, so my plan for today is get something to eat because I'm starving, and I'm going to get one of my favorite things in the world, which is like a salmon wrap. There's this salad franchise here in Korea that sells it, and it's so good. And then I'm going to get my daily intake of caffeine and just go to a cafe and do some reading there. I haven't like gone to a cafe to read in a long time. So I'm excited because I really love doing that. It has like a certain atmosphere to it, So I'm like halfway through the book. I feel I might finish it tomorrow. I don't want to say today because that might be a bit too ambitious. But since we are halfway through the book, I feel like it's going to pick up the pace even more and become even more like juicy and interesting. So I might just want to keep reading it. And I don't really have anything else planned for today, so yeah, I might as well spend the whole day reading. I mean, that's not such a bad idea. So I don't know, I'll keep you guys updated. Let's go. Also, what do you think about this t-shirt? Because I'm in love with it. I bought it recently. It's like the 101 Dalmatians. Oh my god, I don't know how to pronounce it in English, but it's really so adorable. Okay guys, so I'm back from the cafe. I just had some sushi and now I'm ready to share a few more of my thoughts on this book. I haven't finished it yet. There's just a few things I wanted to talk about. So first of all, I feel like Belle, the main character, she is just insufferable. Like, she's just so rash and rude, and I feel like the only person that she maybe actually respects is her dad. It's almost like she puts him on a pedestal, and it's like a very stark contrast when it comes to the way she views her dad and the way she views Rachel, which I can partially understand that because her dad is the one that raised her. Rachel was not there for her. Now, I haven't gotten to like the big reveal yet, so I do not know if my suspicions are correct, but I'm just thinking maybe Rachel is not the bad guy here. I mean, I think she does have some secrets, but maybe her intentions aren't necessarily bad. Maybe she's not as bad as Belle is trying to make her. And it's like Belle is so stubborn. It's like once she has a feeling that something is true, she's just not going to take into consideration any other possibilities. She's not going to stop and think, okay, well, maybe what if I'm wrong? Or, what if my gut feeling is just wrong? She's not. She just thinks everything that is in her head is 100% true, which is a bit annoying. Like, girl. But yeah, anyway, also her narration is pretty repetitive. Like, she mentions the knot in her stomach at least 100 times, and I wish I was exaggerating, guys. And I haven't even finished the book. Like, I don't mind the phrase "not in one's stomach," but I feel like everything can become tiring if you overuse it. And I feel like Holly Jackson maybe overused this phrase a little bit too much. And because I read other books by Holly Jackson, I just naturally start comparing this book to the previous one. So I read The Good Girl's Guide to Murder Trilogy and Five Survive, both of which I really enjoyed. And I feel like the reappearance of Rachel Price's main character, Belle, is definitely the least likable character that Holly Jackson has written. I feel like if she was a real life person, I would not want to be her friend. I wouldn't want to have someone like that in my life. Also, there's like this romance subplot. I don't even know if I can call it a romance subplot. But there's like zero chemistry between them, honestly. So the only reason I know that there is a romance subplot is because I watched a video and someone mentioned that it does have a romance subplot. But honestly, if I hadn't watched that video, I probably wouldn't even realize that there is a romance subplot because they have like zero chemistry. And there was like this one moment that they, I guess, wanted to kiss. It was so awkward, and I don't even feel like Belle likes him, even as a friend, let alone a lover. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, there was also a romance subplot between Pip and Ravi, and I loved it. Like, they had chemistry from the very beginning. They just worked so well together. They were such a great couple. Honestly, one of my favorite book couples of all time. But here, it's not working, I will keep reading it because I'm curious about the mystery and how it all unravels. So I will let you guys know. I'm currently on the page 253, so I will probably finish it either today or tomorrow. So I will just like sum up all of my thoughts and let you know. Okay, guys, so I finished reading The Reappearance of Rachel Price. I actually finished reading it like a few days ago, but I was a bit busy, so I didn't have time to film like a final update. I actually think maybe it's a good thing that it's been a few days because my thoughts had some time to marinate, and now I can just give my final thoughts on this book. So first of all, the plot twist, or the plot twists, because I think there are many of them in this book, and all of them were really shocking. Like, they had me gasping. I think Holly Jackson is a genius. She's so good at writing mysteries and crazy, unpredictable plot twists. I still can't stop thinking about this book. It's been a few days and I still think about it. The story was crazy, but like in a good way. It was crazy in a good way. Also, like, the whole atmosphere, it was very unsettling, and some of the scenes genuinely had me scared. For the mystery and the plot twist and the entire storyline, I loved it and I would highly recommend it. But I ended up giving it 4 stars. because, well, I already mentioned it earlier, but I just cannot stand Belle. Belle is the main character. She's so insufferable. She's so rude and arrogant and just simply annoying. By the end of the book, I guess she grew on me a little bit, but I still wouldn't say that I like her. And the romance subplot, I felt it was completely unnecessary. Now, I really like Ash, who was the love interest, and I think he did bring a lot to the story, but I think he and Belle could have just remained as friends. Like, just because there is a man and a woman, it doesn't mean that they have to start developing romantic feelings for each other, right? Because they had like zero chemistry, their interactions were a bit awkward. This book could do very well without it. So I think these two things affected my final rating, unfortunately. So as much as I enjoyed this book, it's not my favorite Holly Jackson book. If I were to rank all the books that I've read written by Holly Jackson, it would go probably something like A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, like that one. It's my all-time favorite, honestly. And then Good Girl, Bad Blood. And then Five Survive, The Reappearance of Rachel Price, and at the very bottom, As Good as Dead. So As Good as Dead is still my least favorite book by Holly Jackson. I'm not going to talk about it now because this video is not about that book, but I definitely have some issues with that book. Definitely more issues than with this one. So overall, to sum up my thoughts, I think it was a very intriguing and unsettling story. Maybe the ending, there was this one part to the ending that bothers me a little bit. Now, this is a spoiler-free reading vlog, so I'm not going to go into much detail, but I would just say maybe the ending wasn't 100% satisfactory for me. But I mean, overall, it was a good mystery, okay? I still enjoyed it, and I still could recommend it. Especially if you enjoyed other books by Holly Jackson, I think you will definitely enjoy this one as well. If you've never read any book by Holly Jackson, maybe start... I mean, obviously, you can start by reading this one as well, but maybe I would recommend starting with A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, because that one is so good, honestly, and so many people love that one. So I also think that Holly Jackson's writing is like really easy to digest. It's not fancy or anything like that. It doesn't mean it's bad, because I think her writing is really good, but I just mean when you read it, the time goes by very quickly. That's it for this video, guys. So let me know if you've read any books by Holly Jackson, and maybe if you've read this one, then what did you think about it? Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!